Welcome to the Remodeling Lead Gen Masterclass. My name is Nazar and I'll be your host this morning. We're going to talk about how to generate remodeling leads for your remodeling business. We're going to show you some strategies. We're also going to talk about AI and automation and how that integrates into your business, making it easy for you to convert those leads that are coming in. So definitely going to have that piece of information shared with you as well. So now, who's this masterclass webinar for? If you're in the $1+ million revenue, you're trying to get to 2 to 5 in the next 12 to 18 months, very much possible, then this will be beneficial for you. If you're in the $2 to $5 million range and you're trying to get to 10 to 15 in the next 18 to 24 months, also very much achievable with this system. This will be beneficial for you. And if you're already in the 5 to 10 million range and you're trying to get to 20 to 30, again, we can show you how to scale to that, and we'll share all the strategies on how to get to that. So now, introduction of myself. I am a family man. I am a marketer. I have a master's degree in IT management, and I've been an agency owner for almost 10 years now, built over 500 websites, 5,000 lead gen funnels. Everything that we do in this agency is 100% inbound. We started with a focus on roofing. So we called ourselves the roofing marketer. And since then, we've taken on flooring, contracting, exterior, interior remodeling clients. So that's a brief overview about me and my company. Now let's talk about the first challenge. This is something that a lot of contracting companies, remodeling companies miss because essentially your website is your digital storefront. So what that means is that anyone that's coming to your website, they are coming to your digital storefront. That's the first impression that someone has when they land on your business, which is your website. So we see that you have missing service pages, meaning the services that you offer are missing on the website, missing location pages. This will hurt your organic reach or your SEO, meaning if you are, let's say, in Minneapolis, just to take that example, since I live there, if you don't have all the suburb pages of Minneapolis, like Burnsville, like Savage or Edina, that will not help you to get customers in those areas just because you just don't have content relevant, right? So definitely good to have the location pages. The site has to be mobile optimized. This is super key in 2025 and beyond because everybody's on their phones, right? Missing call to action. So this is an example of a call to action. So buttons around the page, different links, different images, even like buttons to click on when someone's on a mobile phone, those will be helpful. And then if you want to generate appointments for your sales reps or your estimators, you want to have a calendar integration. So, your customer can book that appointment right from the website. Also good to have click to call buttons where you're able to call directly from the website, and then AI chatbots when you're not around to answer questions. Again, 80 to 85% of traffic generally comes from a mobile device, whether you're doing paid search or paid social ads or SEO. So very important to have your website optimized for mobile devices. Now, the second challenge I want to touch on, this is super important for your success so that you know where your campaigns are heading digitally, is tracking. So even if we see that people have these tracking tools, it's not configured properly. So Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, call recording is going to be very important because you want to listen in to the calls made from the customers and that is received by your sales reps, by your estimators, so that you can evaluate the performance of the campaigns. You can evaluate where your money is being spent on marketing. The next challenge, these are some of the obvious ones, is how you nurture your lead and how you close them. Now, I'm going to touch on automation too that will vastly help you in this process, but just simply not answering the phone is obviously not going to help us. I have seen this happen more often than I should. So definitely having a solid system behind the phones, whether you have a outsourced solution or inbound solution. This is super key even on the weekends. So talking about weekends, got to have weekend availability, because homeowners that are not doing anything on Saturdays and Sundays, they would want to call you after they've seen your ad, or maybe they've seen your social media ad, or maybe they've found you online through Google. You want to be available for them through the weekends. This is going to be super key. Calls being put on hold. This is a fun one. So this goes back to having proper training for your associates, for your salespeople, so that they are able to answer simple questions on the call. Simple questions such as, what kind of materials do you use for tiles? Do you do drywall? How long does a drywall job take? I'm gonna remodel my bathroom. What am I looking at? All these types of questions, very basic type of questions, they should be able to answer without putting them on hold, because I've seen this happen too quite a lot, and that's not good. Weak follow-up or no follow-up, obviously that is not going to help. Typically, when we are having a touch point with a customer, they might need 4 to 5 to 6 touch points before they actually close as a lead or as a converted customer. So got to have a follow-up system in place, whether you're doing it manually. I recommend you put automation to work for you, and I'll show you how to do that, so that this doesn't fall through the cracks and you don't lose that customer. Got to have an upsell strategy, obviously. We see this in our roofing, with our roofing contractors a lot, where they go into a repair job and then they sell a full roof replacement. Similar strategy for remodeling companies, whether you're doing exterior remodeling or interior. You got to have an upsell strategy in place. And with the state of the economy that we are in right now, always going to be important to have financing options for your customers. Why? Because they may not be able to afford that 20, 30, $40,000 job that they need for their home, or for their office, or their commercial property. All right, so let's talk about SEO, paid search, social media, and social media PPC. These are the 4 basic elements for you to be able to scale, because you need to be able to market yourself, be present on the digital landscape for you to get leads, right? So we're contractor marketing system. These are the 5 elements, which I just kind of went over. You're going to have a website, which is going to be your lead gen machine organically. So that's going to drive your organic traffic, which is your SEO. Then you're going to have your social PPC, which is Facebook, Instagram. This is really good for remodeling businesses because you can really showcase your work here. Search PPC, that's obviously Google Ads, Bing Ads. And then your organic content is going to be super crucial for you to build a brand, because no matter how much ads you run, if you don't have any organic presence, then it does not build your credibility. So, we'll show you how to build that as well. All right, automation and AI. This is new. We just added this because this is super important for you to be able to convert customers. So what can automation do for you? This can essentially double your capacity to close leads, double your capacity to take inbound calls, form submissions, whatnot. There's capability now for AI agents to call customers and have full-on conversations, and they won't even know it's an AI agent. You can leave voicemails. You can schedule appointments directly from your website through automated lead nurture sequence and email notifications. You can also set up texting sequences. Obviously, you have to get consent to do this, but super easy to just set up a notification or set up a consent checkbox on the form that someone's submitting, and then you can start sending them text messages, because everybody's on their phone. This will have tremendous impact on your campaigns. Somebody misses a call from you, they automatically get a text. Again, this can be set up via AI and automation. And then you can also automate your pipeline, where you can designate to see where your sales process or your sales pipeline is in the map, so that you can manage that automatically. So AI and automation, I know this is a lot to discuss, but if you have this for your business, there's several systems in place. We have one. This is going to really help you educate, nurture, and close higher percentage of leads than if you're not using automation and AI. So the website, I already talked about it a little bit, but needs to have the basics, needs to have what types of services you provide, areas you provide the services in, needs to have nice call to action like this, needs to have a crisp look and feel, need to have some CTAs like this, direct call to action here again, different user interface for the mobile site. So in a nutshell, this is the checklist, and you don't have to remember or memorize this. You will be able to get a recording of this session. So don't worry, you don't have to remember all this. So service pages, location specific pages, call to action buttons, which I just talked about, lead capture forms, sticky menu navigation. For the mobile screen, click to call, so they can call directly from the website without even having to go to your Google business profile. Blog page, that's your content. That's going to rank you in the SEO, the search engine. Obviously, you're showcasing your work with a gallery page. Obviously, your about page. We like this to be branded. So having pictures, videos of your company, of your crew, of your executives, just to give a feel to the customer that you actually are in it to win it for a long time. You just didn't start your business yesterday. And even if you did, like, you got to have some sort of brand presence for the customer to feel connected to you. So the about page is also very, very important. The calendar integration I talked about to book those quotation appointments directly into your calendar, your sales rep's calendar, chatbot. Now we can mix between an AI chatbot and a live chat agent. This is super duper inexpensive, doesn't cost you anything. You just set it up once and then you forget about it, and you just see people interact directly with the chatbot. And then whenever you're designing a website, if you're publishing it, you've got to make sure that your SEO tags titles are optimized for your website. So this is going to be super key for you in order for your website to rank in the search engine. Now, what we are offering in this after this webinar is we are going to do a brand new homepage for your website custom for $1. I'm not kidding. We've been doing this and getting great response on this offer. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, stick around and we'll give you that offer. I'm going to show you an example of a campaign where we generated 67 leads, 23 of them bath remodel, 30 kitchen remodel, and then 14 leads that were full remodel. And here's the Google Analytics showing the conversions, 67 conversions for this time frame. And the cost of generating those leads were about $5,000. So 67 conversions at $5,000. Total spend of about $63 a day. Now, this will vary by the location. We ran 3 different kinds of campaigns. I'm going to also show you some of the keywords that we use to generate these results. Now, for the Google PPC, what do we need to do in order to be successful? I'm sure a lot of you guys run Google PPC and are seeing your cost per click or your cost per acquisition just climb through the roof, right? How do we make sure that it does not happen? So first of all, you got to make sure you identify the volume of a keyword versus the intent. So these are 2 factors that will determine how to structure your campaign. And I'll show you the campaign too in a second, so you'll be able to see how that goes. You have to identify the target market, whether you're doing residential remodeling, office remodeling, commercial properties. Keywords that you target are essentially a bid in an auction. You're bidding in an auction, and you have to identify which auction you want to be a part of. Now, specifically for this industry, because remodeling keywords are pricier than some other industries. I mean, since it's the home service industry, very similar to the roofing industry, because the payout of a remodeling project is in the tens and thousands of dollars. Google knows and understands what the value of a lead is to us. So Google understands that if I get a lead for, let's say, a couple of $100, it's worth $10, $20, $30,000 to me. So what Google wants to do is Google wants us to know exactly what we want the customer to see. So therefore, when we're running Google ad campaigns, we want to be able to run it with exact match and phrase match only. We don't want to use broad match because that will ruin our budget, like waste a lot of budget, because Google will show our ads in places that are in for keywords that are not relevant. So this makes the campaign very compact. I will show you the example in the next slide. For these types of campaigns, we monitor the campaigns daily. We don't even wait for weekly. We will go to a weekly monitoring probably after a couple of months when the campaign has somewhat matured. But you have to monitor the campaign daily because the cost of the clicks are going to run up your budget and it's not going to be sustainable. So this needs a lot more attention than setting it and forgetting it, because you will lose money that way. We want to be able to track your conversions. By tracking, I mean we need to be able to record the calls. We need to be able to record the form submissions. We need to be able to know what keywords, what ad we got that conversion from, because that will help us optimize the campaign. So there's third-party tracking software that we use to do that. And then also important to run Google Guarantee ads, because these are going to be your top 3 listings on Google, right? Before the search ads. So if you don't run it, then you lose that spot to your competition. Now, the most important thing out of all these things that I talked about today is going to be the negative keyword set, also known as campaign exclusions. So we have thousands of negative keywords that we use in our campaigns because we don't want our ads to show up where they're not supposed to be showing up. And spam searches or for irrelevant searches. So the campaign exclusions are going to help you reduce leakage of ad budget, if that makes sense. All right. So the next thing is the bidding strategy. Do you start with a manual bidding strategy? Do you start with an automated bidding strategy? This will depend on the type of campaign you're running and what your target is. There's going to be a lot of factors. So we don't determine this right off the top. We will look at your strategy, what you're looking to target, and then determine the bidding strategy behind the ads. Now, we also do recommend running Bing ads, allocating a smaller portion of your budget in Bing ads, because usually people that have the Microsoft browser, that have been using the Bing browser for a while, usually these are more mature customers. So this is a smaller segment of the market, but a niche segment. So therefore, definitely recommend running some Bing ads in addition to Google ads. We'll be happy to give you a PPC audit on our keyword list if you book a call with me. Over here, I'm showing you some keyword samples. So like this is how the campaign is segmented, right? So we have bathroom remodel, then we have keywords. We have home renovation, we have keywords. And we look at the average monthly searches. We look at the top of page bid. We look at the low bid. We look at the high bid. And this is going to vary by your location. So, don't get carried away by these numbers, because these will vary by, the city, the suburb, the metro you guys are doing business in. And yeah, it will vary greatly. So that will help us determine the ad budget that we need to be at for us to be successful. Again, home renovation near me. These are just some examples of how a campaign is structured. The last piece of this puzzle, I was talking about social media presence or your digital brand awareness. So whatever you're posting on social media is going to directly impact the way you're getting conversions on your paid social, your paid PPC, as well as your organic. So posts like this where you're showing awareness, maybe you're doing some sort of charity work, maybe you're doing community work, good type of content to have. You can post your reviews, you can do video testimonials, you can post your Google reviews, you can talk about community work, you can talk about jobs that you've completed. Always good to show before and after. This gives customers a really good look, really good idea of what to expect from you as a remodeler. Now, the last thing I want to discuss is offers. So let's try to pay attention to this, because this is going to help you out. Again, you will get all this in your inbox in a week when we edit this presentation and send you the video. But if you have any questions at the end, you can ask me about this too. So the offers are what gets people to essentially just raise their hand like this and say, hey, I really like this. Let's talk. Because Just like any conversation or any first date, you don't try to sell on the first instance, right? So we want to give the customer a reason to interact with us, to talk to us, to get interested in what we have to offer. So examples of offers: transform your kitchen, save up to 1,500. Get the complete form and get your free 3D design, up to 35% off of installation. Now there's something tangible for the customer to look at, to get. Save $7,000 on your full house remodel, limited time. Limited time offer, get a free consultation and secure your $1,000 discount. Now, the offers will totally depend on your business, whether you're doing interior remodeling, exterior remodeling, whether you just focus on bath or kitchen or basement, or through siding and windows. So all that will determine what type of offers that you throw out. But since we do run these types of campaigns, we have a solid list. So typically we'll present that. So whatever offer you have, make sure it makes people jump out of their seat and want to do business with you. So these are some examples. And then again, I'm just showing you some creatives. So look at this: custom kitchen remodeling, up to 35% off installation. If I didn't have this, how much attention would this creative get? Not that much, because I mean, everybody does custom kitchen remodeling. What's in it for me as the customer? Same thing here: $7,000 off for your first full house remodel. Now, this could be $2,000, $3,000. It all depends on what you want to give out as an offer, but it has to have some tangible meaning for the customer. Again, same thing: April home upgrade special. So again, relevant because we're doing this ad in April. Get a free quote. There's a call to action, shows a small snippet of how the upgrade looks like. Same thing here: full service kitchen and bath remodels. Book your project this month and take $1,000 off. Flawless design, expert built, no hassle. Get a free code. Again, nice crisp design with your branding and then your offer. So the offer is going to be really, really crucial for your social media ads as well your Google ads if you're running those. Thank you so much for joining, and look forward to staying connected. We will get the recording. I appreciate your time. And this is me, Nazar, signing off from the Remodeling Masterclass webinar on Zoom. Thanks so much.